Hello and welcome. This is our pack review of Intervention. I guess not technically review, it's more of a discussion of Intervention and on the cards within. I have with me two players from the Bay Area. I have John, or Joseki as he's known online. How are you doing today, John?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
And I have Adam, or am I pronouncing this right? Aleph?
Aleph.
Aleph C on Netrunner DB and other various channels of Netrunner goodness. And yeah, two local Bay Area players, and we're just going to go right into this. We're going to try and keep it light and quick and fun and see where it goes. So let's start off. The first card in the pack is, am I pronouncing this right? En passant?
En passant.
En passant. Okay. This is a chess reference, which maybe Adam can enlighten us a bit about. But let me read the card text here. So we have an Anarch event, 0 play cost. It is Sabotage. I don't think we have interaction with that subtype yet, but definitely ripe for that. Play only if you made a successful run this turn. Trash an unresed piece of ice you passed during the last run you made this turn, and 2 influence. Yeah, so I don't know. What do you think about this card, John?
So it kind of just screams Valencia, right? Because you can blackmail R&D, and then you can play en passant, and maybe you can play 2 en passants, or same old thing in en passant, or something like this. So I think that's really cool. I like that it seems like it's a support card for an ID that's going to lose some of its support when some cards start to rotate, so I think that's neat. I also think it's just a really funny card in an account siphon deck, because you can run HQ, and then they're like, oh, I don't want to res my ice, because, you know, then they'll know what it is, and they can, like, get their breaker, and then you en passant and siphon them anyway. So I think it's a really fun card. I think it's really cool. You know, I definitely see some potential for abuse, but it's cool.
And at 2 influence, it's pretty easy to import into, I don't know, Ken might like this. Oh, this is not technically a run event because you play after the run.
Yep.
Yeah, not a run event.
So
what
is the reference here in chess, Adam? Do you know?
Yeah, so there's this sort of weird thing that new players hate, where a pawn captures another pawn. That's sort of not where the capture happens. It just sort of catches the pawn as it's going through a square, is the theory.
I see. So this is kind of an indirect attack, sort of.
Yeah, I think it means in passing in French.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of other synergy in Anarch. You got DDoS is another thing that comes to mind, and I love just the kind of passive play of it. Just be like, I'll run your remote, and there's like an enigma at the bottom of that remote. You know I can't break it, so you're not going to res the top piece of ice. And then I play en passant to trash that top piece of ice and play Yogg and get in or whatever. There's a lot of weird plays like that with that too, which I always like. Let's move on to the next Anarch card in the deck. Adam, do you want to read this one for us?
Sure. Frantic coding. Look at the top 10 cards of your stack. If any of these cards are programs, you may install one of them, lowering the install cost by 5. Trash the rest of those cards.
And we have a 3 play cost, 3 influence as well. So I'm seeing this as I don't know exactly what the combo is, but a combo enabler, I think, is you really want to get to some card to kind of finish out your combo and get onto the table. Do you have any ideas of what that might be, John?
Yeah, I don't quite know. I will say the flavor text on this card is really good. In terms of just the flavor of the card, I don't know. I think it's cool. You're just going really fast, right? Like Sonic the Hedgehogging it. So I like the card. I think maybe if you just really want to find your medium, really want to find your Faust, and you're playing a Levy deck or something, some Anarch deck with a Levy, you can just dig deep into your deck to get the one program you're missing or something like this. I can't. It's hard to imagine a runner combo with it though. I don't know what the combo would be.
No, I think it'd be more of a combo enabler, right?
Yeah, I heard somebody talking about Out of the Ashes decks with this.
Oh, that's good.
It's reliable enough, but it's funny.
Or Exclusive Party, yeah.
Yeah.
Exclusive Party and Out of the Ashes and the Conspiracy Breakers. Why not? Everything's good in the heap. Throw it in. Let me read out the flavor text because I hadn't read it. It says Omar goes through 4 or 5 keyboards per week. No 2 from the same decade, and it's him just hacking like a crazy man on his keyboard there. So, John, do you want to read off Gauntlet?
Yeah. So the Gauntlet is a 5 to install criminal console. It's 1 influence and it's unique like all consoles. It gives you +2 MU. Whenever you access cards from HQ during a run, access 1 additional card for each piece of ice protecting HQ that you broke all subroutines on during this run.
So yeah, there's a lot going on here. So at 1 influence, so a lot of people are seeing this as a good alternative for like a good alternative to legwork or HQI and Shaper to just have a decent console with some memory and this kind of HQ pressure card. How do you feel about that idea, Adam?
Yeah, I think a lot of shapers really like this console. It's a little expensive to install, but not needing to spend other influence on HQ pressure is pretty nice for shaper. You do give up one of your better shaper consoles, and a lot of good options right now.
Sure. Yeah, and this is the Khan's console, and not like direct synergy with her ability. You might choose a different console when playing as Khan, but I think that's somewhat reflected in the 1 influence here.
Yeah,
and
I feel like the 2MU is sort of the best thing for Khan about this console. She can have her birds down and maybe some stuff that actually lets her use the birds, maybe Sahasrara.
Oh, sure. Even something like Crescentus might be good for Khan if you want to really stack on those de-resing effects for cheaper ice, maybe. Speaking of Khan, it looks like we have... This is the third bird breaker, right? This is Sakur, I guess? Saker? It is the Fraktur. So 4 install cost, 1 memory. It is a strength 1 barrier breaker, so 1 credit to break barrier subroutines, 2 for 2 strength, and the same kind of ability as the other bird breakers to de-res barriers in this case. So criminals, not the best at barriers. What is your impression of this one, just even mathematically, John?
I think I really don't know that this is really an upgrade or a downgrade over any other barrier breaker. Like Aurora is presumably still also just terrible. At least this one breaks barrier subs for a single credit. So like if, in your local metagame you're playing against a lot of wraparound and vanilla and things like this, I think this thing is as good as any other thing that breaks barriers for 1 credit, so it's got that going for it. Just as far as like its matchups other places, it breaks Eli for 6, it looks like. So
yeah.
It's not a super exciting, barrier breaker mathematically, but if you get to install it off of Khan's ability or like Sahasrara, like Adam said, this is like it's very like just not exciting. Like it's just I think universally not exciting as far as barrier breakers go.
Is that your impression as well, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I think with data sucker support, it's a little bit more tolerable. Like this is almost playable for criminal instead of paying influence if you've got that data sucker.
And now the bird deck is ready to go, and I know Adam's itching to try that out this week. So we'll see how it performs. I'm really excited to see that. The next card is Blockade Runner. Do you want to cover this one, John?
Yeah, Blockade Runner is a 1-cost criminal resource connection. It's 1 influence. It has the ability spend 2 clicks. Draw 3 cards, shuffle 1 card from your grip into your sack.
Okay, so this I think everyone is reminded of Mr. Lee, the I think Genesis cycle card draw for criminal, which was similar to click to draw 2 cards, put 1 on the bottom of your stack, I believe. So this one has a shuffle effect. This is 2 clicks instead of 1. You get 2 cards out of this, but you shuffle 1 back. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. Yeah, I just want to see how this one plays out. If it's really worth the card slot, I'm unsure, I guess is where I am at with this.
Yeah, I played Mr. Lee for a long while, and I mean, getting through your deck a little bit faster as criminal can be pretty useful, but the 2 clicks makes it times.
Yeah, a little bit prohibitive.
Is Mr. Lee 1 click then?
Yeah, Mr. Lee is 1 click, but I think it's a 3 install
Well,
cost.
what's interesting
Yeah.
about this is you can shuffle any card from your grip into your stack.
Yes.
So in Criminal, you regularly have turns where you click to draw twice in the same turn. That is not uncommon.
Certainly.
So any turn where you do that, this is certainly better because criminal decks are usually quite redundant, right? Like usually in a criminal deck, like you have like extra desperados and like extra breakers and like all these extra things. So Blockade Runner seems good with that because you can kind of like, instead of always having to discard, you like just get to keep shuffling things back in, which also has like side benefits against like net damage and meat damage decks. You don't run out of cards that way.
And also something I'm realizing now, this is not unique, so you can stack these up and then play that event that gives you a bunch of money for connections. Maybe that's interesting. I don't know. Moving on to, I think, everyone's favorite card from this pack based on the game night yesterday we played in, Smoke. Adam, it seems appropriate that you would read out Smoke.
Yeah, Smoke is a Shaper identity, 0 link, 40 card minimum, but a full 15 influence. She is a Gmod stealth, and she has 1 recurring credit to use icebreakers with.
And so do either of you know what a cynosure is? It says cynosure of the net. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'll look it up.
Okay. Yeah, so I have Adam there read it because Adam is our resident shaper and was desperately hoping that Smoke would be out for Worlds, and she barely missed a cut there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, why don't you kind of cover Smoke a little bit, Adam? What are your impressions of her, the little bit we've played so far?
Yeah. The big thing that Smoke does is that she enables the stealth rig to just start going as fast as any other shaper. You put a self-modifying code down and you can just run.
Yeah,
and that is a huge boost for stealth.
Yeah, usually you would need like an SMC and a clone chip down, or an SMC and one of your breakers to kind of safely run. This is I was doing this yesterday. I could do like hedge fund, sure gamble, run R&D, or run the remote. In the first turn on click 3, you're ready to go. Which I know you've played a lot of Kate and Haley stealth, and you wouldn't have those plays ready until turn 2 or 3 usually.
Yeah, Haley was maybe the only other shaper that could get stealth set up as fast as Smoke can.
Sure, you would need a little bit of luck there with the draw to give you those cards to throw down on the table. John, did you figure out what cynosure is?
Yeah, a cynosure is a person or thing that is the center of attention or admiration.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, the theme with Smoke, as I understand it, is she's sort of like, I don't know, a street magician, or she's on a daily cast, right? So she's all about broadcasting herself out into the world. She has a lot of magician cards for some reason.
Yeah, she does live streaming of her runs. So people like watch her when she does, like, she like jacks in and goes on runs. And like also, I think she's like basically a Twitch streamer.
Yeah, sure.
Like, she has like her own show, and like she makes all her money streaming and like.
So
all
it's
that stuff.
it's Twitch hacks HB.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. She does. She's on Notoriety as well.
Yeah, she's been making appearances early on in the game. Like Daily Cast, I think, was Creation Control. Notoriety might even have been Genesis.
She's on the Source.
She's on the Source. Yeah, she's all over the place. She's been a long time coming here. So I think we're all excited about her. Let's move on to Top Hat here. I'll read this one off. This one's weird. It's a Shaper hardware. 1 influence. 0 install cost. Whenever you make a successful run on R&D, instead of accessing cards, you may choose one of the top 5 cards of R&D and access it. You cannot access any other cards in R&D this turn, or this run. So this lets you dodge, like, virtual tour that might be installed, or product placement, or whatever. Any upgrades you can dodge with this, which is interesting. Other than that, I think everyone's trying to figure out what this is for. Do you guys have any insight?
Well, there's like some combos with the cards that let you look at the top of R&D.
Sure, Adam's card does that.
Yeah, Adam's card and Sunny's card.
Fair enough. Yeah, you can see hedge fund and then go look at the second card down, or just try and get lucky on. I don't know. I think I'd call card 5. Why not?
Then you have to remember.
You do have to remember, but that's useful. Like if you have that memory build, which Adam certainly does, me and John probably don't. But if you can remember that 5th card, that might give you some leverage, right?
Yeah, it's also 0 install 1 influence, so there's maybe something to be said for other factions just throwing this in and running R&D twice to get a sort of multi-access there.
Sure, I could see that.
You can't. This doesn't combo with multi-axis, right? Like RDI.
No.
Correct. Yeah, but this would give you like a fake kind of multi-axis. Like let's say Anarch, they're not icing up R&D too hard against you maybe in the early game, and you can like top hat with 2 clicks. You could get in there and get some data suckers and see 2 unique cards. So there might be something to that.
So like with repeated runs.
Yeah, with repeated runs. Yeah, and you don't have to. It's a May ability, yeah. So you can multi-access the first run and then second run look at the third card, et cetera, et cetera. Let's move on down to Blackstone. I believe, I don't know, I think we're on to John. John, do you want to read out Blackstone?
Yeah. Blackstone is a 4-2 install, 1 MU program Fraktur, so it breaks barriers. It's 2 influence and starts with 3 strength. It has pay 1 credit to break a barrier subroutine, and pay 3 credits to add +4 strength for the remainder of the run. Use this ability only by spending at least 1 credit from a stealth card.
Okay, yeah, so we got 2 influence on this one. Adam. I go to Adam again because he's our resident Shaper stealth player. Yeah. And how are you feeling about Blackstone here?
I don't like it very much. The 3 to boost strength is really awkward whenever you need to do it. It starts at 3 strength, so if you're in a meta that doesn't really have a lot of big barriers, you can get away with this. But in a stealth rig, I tend to find that I like to have one of my breakers not rely on my stealth credits. And this is probably one of the more awkward stealth breakers, so this would probably be the one that I'd splash it out of faction.
Sure. Yeah, and I think you usually like to play Corroder in your stealth builds, as I've seen. And that is a good point about cheap install is very good. This one 4 install is up at the higher end of what you realistically want to pay for a Fraktur, especially when they have resistor, vanilla, things like that. So yeah, the 3 strength I think is very good about this. Like we know that 3 strength Frakturs are good. We have a lot of evidence for that. So that's something. Maybe if you were doing a stealth build and, God, I don't know, would you not play Dagger for some reason? I can't imagine. Maybe you're at Opman instead. There might be some weird meta things that shift you towards Blackstone, but in general, it seems like I think it's fitting the theme of Frakturs not being too good at stealth. Like, walls are hard to stealth past. Kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah. And Shapers aren't exciting barrier breakers, or no, they're usually code gate breakers, right? That's
their secondary breakers are barriers. So
this feels like secondarily good. Like it seems like it has okay numbers, and it's just not exciting.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to government investigations. Okay, this is an event. It's a current 0 play cost. This card is not trash, and it has the current text. While secretly spending credits, players cannot spend 2. So this is just like maybe looking at other cards in this pack and Nisei Division and saying, let's make it a 50-50, huh? And I think, Adam, you have a really interesting play with this card, right?
My favorite play with this card is to, it's outplay Push Your Luck, because then you, the runner, cannot spend 2.
And that means that the corp should say that you're bidding odd because there's more odd numbers in the pool, and there's a statistically better chance that you will bid 2 as the runner. And then you bid even as the runner, and you win. And it's great. We love cards that synergize with Push Your Luck here in the Bay Area. We have a prepaid Push Your Luck deck in the works, and this is going to slot into that real nicely, I think. Oh, so the next card in this pack, I want to put some time into because I was seeing it being played a lot yesterday at the game night game. And this is Citadel Sanctuary. John, do you want to cover this one?
Yeah, so this is a 2 install unique resource location. It's no influence. It's neutral. If you are tagged when your turn ends, force the corp to trace 1. If unsuccessful, the runner removes 1 tag. Trash Citadel Sanctuary, or trash it and all cards in your grip. Prevent all meat damage.
So this one, I hadn't put much time into just thinking through its implications before playing yesterday, and it got played against me by 2 runners. I think there was an Andy that played it against me, and maybe a Shaper, I can't remember. But I was playing CTM because I'm a tryhard, and this was really interesting. Like, it removed 2 or 3 tags. What do you guys think about this?
I mean, I haven't played against it. Like, thinking from the runner side, it seems pretty risky to me. Like, if you're relying on the corpse action to get your tag cleared, you're running a pretty large risk if you aren't able to keep them poor.
I think you almost certainly play this in a deck that plays something like Security Nexus, though, right? The Citadel Sanctuary.
Oh, yeah. If you have a ton of link.
Yeah, you have like a ton of link, and the corps are like the corp is usually not going to be super rich, and you're on Magnum Opus, so you can just like credit up really big, and then it's kind of like a free click and 2 credits every time you float a tag. If you have like the link and money to like just float 1 tag at like, you know, you're playing CTM and you like trash their bankers, and then you get traced, and it's like, cool, all right, I have like 20 credits and 5 links, so you're go, you know, and then you just remove the tag. So it seems totally fine, and it also seems fine in that it adds another barrier to getting meat damage killed, right? Because then they have to spend a click to trash this before they can try and kill you.
Yeah, that might buy you the time you need. There's also does this trigger at the same time as Joshua B? So you can.
You cannot use Joshua B with this, unfortunately.
Oh, no. Why is that? This is when your turn. Oh, if you're tagged when your turn ends. So that's right. You're
right.
Okay, yeah. There's the wording of this is really important, but sure, this doesn't work with Joshua B. But there are a lot of effects that like can tag you on your turn for benefits, and this helps clean it up. A lot of it, I think you guys have the right idea. A lot of it depends on the kind of credit differential between the two, and in some cases, the corp will totally spend 13 credits for you to keep a tag if it means they're just going to win the game. But in the mid game and early game, this one is interesting. I had situations where like I could have spent like 4 credits for them to have a tag, but I was CTM and like I'm not meat damage killing them, and I didn't have closed accounts at the time, and you know I was like, okay, fine, trace 1. They paid a credit and cleared the tag, and that was super efficient for them. I don't know, it's interesting to me. It's something to keep your eye on, as it's a good option, I think. Okay, so why don't we end it there? This is the first half of intervention. We will pick it up in the second video for the corp cards. Thank you guys for contributing on this, and thank you everyone for watching.